Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Dorothy. Thanks for joining me here today. I want to talk about the new moon in Gemini, which is on June 16th. Now on the east coast of the United States, Eastern time zone, it's at 10:05 a.m. All right. As soon as the moon is new, though, she's at the 25th degree of Gemini. She does go void of course, and she is void of course until she enters the sign of Cancer. Later in the evening, that will be at 6:51 p.m. Eastern time zone as well. What does all this mean? Let's back up just a smidge. I'll give you ideas of how to work with that moon in Gemini, and then what to do, what to do with it, how to work with it in the best way possible. So an hour before the new moon, what we have the moon making a conjunction to Mars. And when the moon conjuncts Mars, it does create a lot of fiery energy. Mars is in Gemini. If there's a conjunction, the planets are in the same location in the zodiac belt. And so the moon-Mars conjunction at 9 in the morning represents a lot of communication and is very heightened emotion. But things can come up because we're at that balsamic phase before the moon is new. It's still balsamic the time that it connects with Mars. And so things can come up either in our head, and we have a very, very busy morning trying to analyze things, or going over a conversation that we think we need to have with somebody, or one we did have with somebody. All of these things are what can happen in the morning before the moon is new. So if you're having this dialogue going on in your own head, I'm saying that because the moon's balsamic at this point, it's really best if you truly need to say something, write it down so you can get it out of your head and free up that mind space and stop being so much in your mind. Needless to say, that's part of what the new moon is all about. It's about kind of the dynamic of that thinking process. Whenever the moon is new in Gemini, it is always about that thinking process. It just happens that this time around with this new moon, which we have once a year in this zodiac sign, we have an opportunity, thanks to Mars, to really put some action to some of the things that are going on in our heads and actually to get some words up and out. Mercury was retrograde for a while, and it is now finally, well, it's done. It's been done, its retrograde since June 11th. But at this point in the month, at the 16th, we're just a week out of the retrograde. So we're still working up and working through a lot of the pieces that might have given us a little trouble during Mercury's retrograde period. All right, I'm talking about Mercury because all of these energies are Gemini. Mercury was retrograde in Gemini. All right, I'll leave you with that. The new moon energy. Once the moon is new at 10:05 a.m., she goes void of course, which means there are no other planets after that 25th degree of Gemini or at any other zodiac signs after 25 degrees. So she gets to just sort of be on her own and just work with that Gemini and the energy of what already is in motion about communicating and moving and just really learning and really connecting with others. So while she's void, of course, it's not always the best time to set new moon wishes or to set goals. Do what you feel is comfortable and best for you, because there's always a couple ways of thinking about that. A new moon is a new moon, and with it in Gemini, really what I want you to think of is how can you set goals in regards to these things and then anything else that you're interested in. New moon in Gemini is about communicating better, communicating quickly, short little bits of information. It does not have a lot of depth, which is fine. It's like a butterfly that just hits a bush and just goes from one flower to the next to the next. That's the energy of a new moon in Gemini. That's the energy of Gemini. Mars is with this new moon as well, like I just mentioned. So we need to feel very much more social. If we're not feeling social enough, you can set yourself a goal on how you want to feel more social, how you want to get out there just a little bit more. You don't have to jump in over your head, but you can certainly get into the waters a little bit. Daily positive interactions with our close friends and relatives, especially siblings, especially our neighborhood. Those are goals we can set if we need to to work on some of these things for ourselves, all right? Sometimes we can feel a little restless with this energy if we're not comfortable being a Gemini or with a Gemini, because they tend to move quick and go all over the place, and they can be scattered, but they can also be very fun and very dynamic. So there's a lot of different unique and interesting ways of doing things. And so if you need some energy put into your life and really need to add some dynamic to your life, add that in on one of your goals for the new moon, that you really want to feel more active, you want to see more opportunities, and find the courage to take them. Things like that. You know what your life is about. I'm just kind of giving you a quick little hit on what that new moon energy is about. So recognizing what's right for you, recognizing that you can take some steps and move into some new areas of social activity, new areas of information, maybe taking some fun one-day workshop classes, courses. Gemini's all about learning. It's all about sharing information. Maybe you can teach something this year. Maybe even just go on a lot of day trips this year and do a lot of short little hikes. All of these things are Gemini qualities. Driving here and there, communicating, staying in contact with friends, creating more friendships. All of these things are the things that we need to do with this new moon in Gemini. Where Gemini falls in your chart is a personal thing. So look for that 25th degree of Gemini, and that is where all of this energy is happening, so you can add the energy of that sector, that house area as well. All right? So that will be very personal, very specific for you. If you need more information about that, you can find me on the web, nhastrologer.com. Please come to my webpage. I'll put the link right at the top here, and you can go ahead and read this forecast in much more detail. I have a lot more examples there for you to read. Thank you very much, and blessed be. And namaste.